High sun, dingy water, decent amount of wind. It's not super windy. These fish are gonna have pretty low visibility, so I'm adding a little flash. There's a fish. Yes, sir. A jerk paws. He bit it on the paws. We're on the board, as long as we land him. Ooh, baby, let's get the net. I don't want a hook in my finger. He bit it on the paws, my friends, but we're on the board. Little chunk. I just got done working for the day, and I've got about an hour and a half, 2 hours to fish, and I feel pretty good about that. He kind of swiped at it. He did not get it straight in the mouth. I mean, he got it on the underside of his lip. I don't know whether he likes this color or doesn't like this color, but I'll take him. Little chunk. All right, well, welcome back. This is Jerk Paws episode 2. Today I'm going to share with you what I like in a jerkbait rod and reel, but for now, let's just keep catching fish because, yeah, that's what I want to do mostly. You know, if the fish keep eating it that way, I'll probably re-rig to something a little different, mainly just because that fish did not really have it the way I would like a fish to have a jerkbait. That fish should have probably come off, but fortunately, because of the rod and reel I'm using, I landed him. You know, it really is important with treble hook baits to have the right type of equipment because those treble hook baits can easily get shook, especially when they're just barely hooked. I guess I better show you the jerkbait I'm using. Kind of a clown color. It's real chrome and chartreuse back, red head. I like this for dirtier water, but with the wind and everything, I just wish that this was a size 300 as compared to a 200. You know, these KVD jerkbaits are available in numerous sizes, and I like the 300 one when I'm trying to displace a little bit more water. I can guarantee there's gonna be a fish right here. I can guarantee it. That wind is blowing down in that bank and it's getting a lot of sun. There's rocks up shallow too. And it also transitions from deeper to shallow. Right here, I'm probably sitting at about 11 foot of water. Up there, it transitions into about 7 foot of water. So I have a feeling the fish will be right up there on that bank. So let's give it a cat. Oh, what a beautiful backlash, just beautiful. There's a dead fish right there. That's no good. That looks like a bass. It's unfortunate. Oh, there's a fish, yes, sir. I knew there'd be one on this bank. Feels decent. Doesn't feel like a giant by any means, but he's bigger than the last one, I'll guarantee you that. Well, I guaranteed he was bigger than the last one, but the reality is, I think he's smaller. And he had it in the mouth, but yeah, well, let's just get this guy in there. Yeah, I'm thinking I may need to modify my color. He had it slightly in the mouth, but he also had it in the back of the head. So these fish are kind of swiping at it, I think. Little dink, but I'll take him. Come on now. Oh my gosh, 2 of them came up. One just nipped the tail. They were just cruising up shallow. They're moving shallow like as we speak, my friends. That's a good sign to see 2 together. Okay, we're around fish. He nipped at it right by the kayak and I didn't get a chance to set the hook. Probably would be a good idea to go ahead and re-rig into a different color. I don't think they really love this clown color. I think they're eating it, but I think they'd eat a different color a little bit better. So, what should I do? Should I re-rig? I should probably re-rig. I don't feel like re-rigging. There's a fish. Well, I don't know if I want to re-rig or not. You know, these fish are eating it. The question is, would they eat a different one better? Oh man, kind of dogging me. What do we got? We got a Sally on here? We're tangled up with Sally right now, my friends. Gotta love the wind, gotta love the wind. No, see, he's kind of foul hooked a little bit too. Yeah, I'm gonna change colors. I think they'll eat a different color better. They're swiping at it. They're not getting it the right way. And I don't want to keep foul hooking fish, so I'm gonna rig up a different one. I think they'll get it better. I thought I had a giant, but the reality was he was just hooked in the back of the head. I'm gonna re-rig, but you know what? 3 on the board, my friends. We're getting blown up on the bank here. That's wonderful. If you have not seen my last video, in the last video I talked about how I select colors, so make sure to watch that if you want to learn a little bit about my methodology. But for now, I think I'm just going to upgrade size a little bit, and I think that's going to draw me some better bites. Snipping Mr. Clown off, and we're going to upgrade to the same jerkbait we used in that last video. I'm going to double back and fish this bank again because I'm confident there's more fish. All right, give me another one before the wind blows me up on the bank. There's one. I knew there'd be another one here. Doubled back and fished this bank again. I'm glad I did. You know, I saw those fish cruising up shallow and I knew there was more here. So we returned after giving it a little bit of rest, and there you go. He's trying to fight. He wants to be big. I don't know if he is. He's my biggest one yet. And he's got it in the mouth. That's what we like to see. That's what we like. Get in the net, you daggum chunky. Well, not very long, but he's certainly built the right way. Glad to see he's eating. Nothing's down his throat, but he's a chunk. He's obviously been feeding on something. See, buddy. Yeah! Woo! There we go, folks. Little after work mission, and it's paying off. I love to see it. I love to see it. I love jerkbait fishing. I love the way they throttle that bait. You know, I'd love to catch a giant bass too, but it's just not happening yet. But I have confidence we're doing the right thing. Now we just gotta find a big girl. Let's go looking for a big girl. Don't even ask me about my cadence. I can't tell you exactly why oh, there's a fish. I was getting ready to say, I can't really tell you why I do what I do when it comes to cadence and retrieve of a jerkbait. I just kind of go with my gut instinct. I think it just takes a little bit of time. Yeah, he's got it in the mouth too. That's good. Okay, another little dinker, but little squeaky. I swear, it looks like the same fish I caught a minute ago. I don't know if it is or isn't, but he sure looks like him. Okay, well, come on. Every single time I catch a fish, I get blown up into the corner. Anyways, today, I don't know, my cadence is, because it's pretty windy and whatnot, I'm probably working it a little quicker, but also the conditions. There's a fish. The conditions are great. They're in my favor. I mean, it's the warmest day of the year, probably. I mean, very close to the warmest day of the year. And so I'm gonna take advantage of that. You know, you can probably work your bait a little faster because these fish are gonna be a little more active. Let's just put you in the net. Okay, they're all the same size. I knew doubling back to this spot and fishing it again would be worth it. Not exactly worth it for some giants, but worth it for some fish. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to catch fish, my friends. Anyways, today I'm working it pretty aggressively. If we had more of a cold front, I wouldn't work it quite this fast. But because we've got this nice sun, we've got this wind, I know these fish are active, and I trust that I can work it pretty aggressively. And so far it's working. So no sense in fishing slow if you don't need to fish slow. When it comes to cadence, I just say try to listen to the fish. You know, fish as fast as the fish will let you is generally my methodology. And right now they seem to be okay with me fishing relatively aggressively, so I'm gonna take advantage of that. The smart move is probably to do exactly what I've already done. Move away from this spot for like 5 minutes and come back, but I think I'm just gonna keep exploring, keep fishing some new water. There's a fish. Wow, he ate it weird. That's definitely the best one of the day. I don't know if this fish qualifies as a Sally, but she sure is a Shirley. I don't even know what I'm saying. That's a good fish. All right, it's more like it. That is more like it. Whoa, she's got a weird gnarly scar on her. I fished this bank already with that chrome jerkbait, and now I come back with the gold one, and we got ourselves a decent one. Look at that, it's got a nasty scar on her. Messed up fin. That fish has been caught before as well. See ya, girl. Okay, so here's my setup. So I'm gonna talk about the rod, the reel, and the line. Ultimately, the rod is what I'm most excited to talk about because it is such a key piece of this whole system. So for me, I've got this Shimano Intenza. It's kind of a mid-range rod. It's, I think, $130, but I really, really like this rod, mostly because of the action of it. So it doesn't necessarily matter what brand you get, but for me personally, I like this one. It is 6'9". It's technically a fast action, and it's a medium power. So it's rated for a 1/4 to 1/2 ounce, but I fish a lot of stuff in the 1/2 ounce area. I'm not necessarily super concerned with that, but ultimately that 6'9" length is really good for me because it allows me to be precise, but at the same time I can always get plenty of distance on it. And then the fast tip for me is something that some people probably prefer, like a moderate fast because of the treble hooks, but I kind of compensate for that with the medium action, or the medium power. But ultimately for me, I like the fast action because I've experimented with a lot of rods, and I like the ability to really feel what my jerkbait's doing, and I also like the ability to kind of really bounce it and get it down there a little deeper. And I've found with those little bit slower rods, I've found that I just don't get the same level of action from my jerkbait that I'm looking for. So for me personally, a medium power and a fast action is kind of what I'm looking for. Now I do want to clarify that personal preference is obviously a huge part of it, but it is tried and true. I mean, I've landed every fish that's bit today, so that's obviously saying something. The other thing is, as far as length goes, if you fish a lot of deeper, clear water and you're trying to get your jerkbait down a little deeper and you're trying to make longer casts, you know, you might be better off with a longer rod. And then on the flip side, if you're fishing around a lot of brush and you're fishing shallow, muddier water, you might be better off with a little bit shorter rod for accuracy. But for me, I really think if you're gonna have one rod and you do a little bit of everything, that 6'9" or 6'10" area, it's so perfect. I really, really like it personally. Okay, so let's move on to reel. So for me, me, I've got a Shimano Curado MGL 70. It's a nice reel, obviously, but ultimately the point is I have a little bit smaller size reel just because I put lighter line on it, and I don't necessarily need to put 500 yards of line on there, so I just use something that's comfortable in the hand. I like a high speed. If you really have a hard time slowing yourself down, you might slow down your reel speed, but I personally think it's super important to be able to catch up with a fish when they start running at you with those treble hooks. So personally, I would say a high speed reel is your best friend. And then what I have it spooled up with right now is actually like a weird, it's Yozuri hybrid. It's kind of like a monofilament hybrid line. I would say, typically speaking though, I like straight fluorocarbon. I'm just doing some experimenting, but I would say my favorite would definitely be just straight fluorocarbon, anywhere from 6 to 12 pound. This is 8 pound test. I like 8 pound. It does well for a lot of the waters I fish, and I have confidence in it. That being said, if you fish around a lot of dirtier water or you're fishing around a lot of brush and whatnot, you can obviously upsize that. And then again, if you're fishing super clear water and a lot of finicky fish, you know, 6 pound test is probably the way to go. Okay, I've rambled about that long enough. If you have any questions, just drop a comment below and I'll get to that as quick as I can. But for now, the sun is still out, so let's go try to catch another fish. Oh, what? A yellow perch just ate this thing right by the kayak and I launched him. I didn't expect a yellow perch to eat this. Well, that was interesting. I launched that little boy. Well, I tell you what, the bite has certainly calmed down, so I'm gonna go ahead and call it a day, but stay tuned for more jerkbait content coming soon.